Hey everybody, today is going to be a very special day because today we are going to learn Python. If you have been following along with this series from the beginning, we started with Java, then we went to C#, then we went to C, then we went to assembly. Curly braces are used for defining code blocks in many other languages like C# or Java. But in Python, all you need is indentation. We'll define our code block by simply indenting it. Now you may ask, okay, why would you use indentation? What if I want to use spaces instead of tabs? Well, Python actually recommends using 4 spaces per level of indentation. How about we take 2 strings and then we concatenate them together? Well, we can do that very easily. Like here, I could just say, hello, join world, then it would still work. That's because in Python, you can call methods without the dot notation. So instead of saying string, concat, you can just say string. Here I could say x, y, z equals 1, 2, 3. So now x is assigned a value of 1, y is assigned a value of 2, and z is assigned a value of 3. Control flow is very important when programming. Sometimes you don't want to execute certain lines of code. Maybe you only want to execute them under certain circumstances, and in Python, we can do that using if statements. Here's an example. If x greater than 5, then we want to print x is greater than 5. Otherwise, we want to print x is not greater than 5. So here we have an if statement followed by a colon. Inside of the parentheses, we specify the condition. So in this case, we say x greater than 5. If this condition is true, then we execute the code that is indented underneath it. And we can specify multiple conditions as well. So maybe we want to say if x greater than 5 or x less than 10. Now if x is greater than 5 or less than 10, then we'll execute this code. All we need to do is say something like print. A for loop allows us to iterate over a collection of items. So maybe we want to print out all the even numbers from 0 to 10. Well, we can do that very easily. Notice the plus sign there. The plus sign is used to concatenate strings. Alternatively, if I wanted to, I could also do print. But in Python, if you want to find out the data type of a variable, all you need to do is say typo, and then whatever your variable is. So in this case, ILL say type of x, and it tells me that x is an int. If I change this to a float like so, and I run this again, now it tells me that x is a float. Also, if I had said x equals hello world, then it would tell me that x is a string. Now that looks pretty crazy, but let me break this down for you. So we've got the open quotation mark. We've got the word hello, another quotation mark. Then we've got a dot. Then we've got the word join, another open parentheses. And then we've got the word world, another close parentheses, another quotation mark, and then a period. This is another way to concatenate strings together. It's just a different method. They both do the exact same thing. So now when I run this, it's going to print out the exact same thing. Hello world. So basically you could use 8 spaces if you wanted to, but they recommend 4. That's the convention. You should stick to that. Now finally, we are at Python. Python is known for being a very easy language to pick up. Variables in Python are very simple. All you need to do is just say x equals and then whatever you want to set it to. In this case, maybe I want to set x equal to 10. Once you have your variable defined, you can then use that variable wherever you want in your program. So maybe I want to print x asterisk too. So now when I run this, it's going to print out 20 because it takes the value of x, which is 10, and multiplies it by 2. It's also one of the most popular languages in terms of ranking right now. So that's why we're going to learn it. And you might be surprised how much we can do in just 6 minutes. Now in Python, the first thing you notice is that there are no curly braces. Another thing you'll notice about Python is that it has really bad color highlighting. I don't know what happened here. Like, look at this mess. I mean, some VS Code extensions will make this look better. Most of the time, you'll be using an IDE called PyCharm. which will make this look beautiful. But don't worry too much about the syntax highlighting. Let's get to learning the actual language. The very first thing we're going to do is print hello world. To do that, we need to tell the computer that we are going to print something. So we type print, and then inside of the parentheses, we put whatever we want to print. In this case, it's going to be hello world as a string. We ended off with a semicolon, and we hit enter. There we go. Hello world. Look at that. We just printed hello world in Python. Now what if I wanted to print something else? Maybe I want to print 25. How do I do that? Well, I can just go down here and do print again. And this time I'm printing a number. Notice that when I run this, it prints 25, but without the quotation marks. Why is that? Well, that's because in Python, everything is an object. And so when I print a number, it automatically converts it into a string and then it prints it out. But if I did something like print true, which prints out a Boolean value, well, then it would actually print out true. All these values like numbers, Booleans, strings, etc. are objects. And so it's going to convert them all into strings and print them out for us. Now that was really cool. But let's try doing something a little bit more interesting. One thing I do want to mention, though, is that in Python, I need to have to put a period in between methods. All right, so let's move on to variables. Now, one thing I do want to mention here is that in Python, you can actually assign multiple values to multiple variables at once. Now, let's talk about data types. We've already touched on a few like strings, numbers, and those are the most common ones. Now, we've covered a lot of ground here, but we've only scratched the surface. Let's move on to control flow. Let's try something else. How about we do a for loop? And that's just a quick introduction to Python. There is so much more to cover, like functions, classes, modules, packages, etc. But we're going to save that for another video. This has been Python in 6 minutes. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.